guys, this is Lala Legacy, and welcome back to another episode of Symphonic Rain. So, let's jump right back in. Ugh. As I slowly opened my eyes, a miffed-looking Forney standing by my bedside came into view. Morning! Is it that late already? Oh wait, whoops. Morning, is it that late already? Whoopsie. I'm already messing up. Oh well. I fluttered my eyes to the clock behind the angry sprite. It's only barely past 9. I could sleep for 30 more minutes. But you told me to! She pulled my ear with all her might. Of course, she had the strength of a little fairy. I didn't feel much. Wake up! I get it. Don't shout in my ear like that. You haven't written your reply to Ari yet, have you? Ah, come to think of it, I stayed at Nina's place until late yesterday and fell asleep right after reading the letter. Having suddenly recalled everything, I scanned my bedside, but the letter I was sure I had left there was gone. If you're looking for the letter, I left it on your desk to make sure you wouldn't crumple it. Oh, thanks. Come on, get up, write your letter, and practice your butt off today. Now, who taught you to speak like that? Actually, she'd been that way since I first met her. What she said seemed like something Torta would say. Oh well. Anyway, thanks for waking me up. Geez, you really can't do anything without me. Nothing? Nothing. I see. I was thinking about doing an ensemble with you when I got back, but somehow I really don't feel like it anymore. Hey, you're lying! Oh, I don't mind if you think I'm lying. It was just a thought in the first place, and now I don't feel like it anymore. Huh? I had expected her to apologize and be done with it. What are you being stubborn about? I'm not being stubborn! I think such a reply is proof in itself that you're being stubborn. Had I been teasing her too much since last night? I was starting to feel a bit sorry for her, so I decided to give up. Never mind, I'm sorry. Heh! Forney seemed to be quite upset, but that was rather cute in its own way. As I pondered mean things like leaving her in her angered state for a while longer, I decided to focus on my primary objective for now, my reply to Ari. When I got up and walked to my desk, I heard Forney make a tiny sound behind me. What? Nothing! What? Spit it out! I'm telling you, it's nothing! Forney didn't want to say it, but I understood what she wanted. She wanted me to carry her to her favorite seat in front of the window. Come on. I grabbed her side with my thumb and index finger and propped her down on the window frame. Hey! This is what you wanted, right? Well, yeah. Listen, I apologize for last night and for teasing you just now. But you know, I don't think anyone could do everything themselves. Sure, if you weren't there to wake me up, I would likely oversleep a lot. But without my help, you wouldn't be able to reach high places, would you? I guess. That's why it's wrong for you to say that. Above all, it takes 2 to perform an ensemble. All right, I get it. Thanks. Then I guess I'll go write my letter now. Forney shifted her gaze to the outside world and started humming, something she often did when in a good mood. Feeling relieved, I pulled a clean sheet of paper from a drawer and sat down behind my desk. Thankfully, it looked like Ari was doing just fine on her end. In her early letters, she often wrote that she was having difficulties. I often grumbled that I couldn't get used to living here at the institute as well, but I somehow managed to hold out until now. I could confidently say that was the result of being supported by the people around me, like Forney, Torta, Asano, and Miss Cordell. Ari had to have people like that as well. Thinking about her friends, who didn't appear much in her letters, I started writing my reply. Are you done? It's about time for you to leave, Forney told me after glancing at the clock, back in high spirits once more. Don't worry, I'm done. I'll be right on time if I leave now. Thanks for waking me up. Whatever would you do without me? She had slightly altered her choice of words. I had to agree with her this time. You're right, I answered jovially, and began preparing to leave. I'm off. Be careful! You'll be back early today, right? Probably, but even if I'm not, I will keep my promise. Okay, got it. I finished my usual morning session and spent time with Torta in the cafeteria. Well then, what shall I do now? Let's go to the practice room. I decided not to meet anyone today and simply practice on my own, so that when I did meet someone, I could put on an even better performance. That was sort of my reasoning. I should decide first whether to play some piece from start to finish, or to just practice tidbits here and there. We are going to practice from start to finish. Which piece? FALS. Oh gosh, here we go. Crap. I suck at that. Crap. Okay, well, I did better than I have before, I guess. Whew. Oopsie. Let's call it a day. Time to go home. It was getting late. After cleaning up the practice room, I went home. December 13th. Well then, what shall I do now? Left practice room. I dragged my feet towards the practice room where Fal was waiting for me. How many times did this make it in the past month? Granted, she wasn't always available. It wasn't like I came here every day. Still, we've spent a relatively large amount of time together. I entered the room after gently knocking, which would have been barely audible inside at the best. Hello? I called out to the girl from the back. She was in the middle of singing her usual song. Oh, hello! Fal answered without averting her eyes from the score, as though she'd been expecting me. I was always happy whenever she turned around to greet me, but having an easygoing relationship like this wasn't that bad either. By the time she finished the final verse, I was already seated behind my fortel, ready to begin. I figured she had wrapped up her vocal exercises, so we could probably start right away. What shall we do? Care to play together for a bit? Sure, I answered, lightly striking my keyboard at the same time. Got it. Huh? The scene before me gave me a sense of déjà vu. Did something like this happen before? Obviously with someone other than Fal. The smell of a slightly musty music room, a room with dense air putting pressure on my eardrums. The peculiar air of the music classroom I used to attend when I was small came back to me distinctly. At any given time there would be people playing the piano or singing or both. Even if someone entered the room, the music would incessantly continue to permeate it. And before I knew it, I was there, participating in those performances. I finally turned from my lengthy reverie. While I could indulge in Torta's presence, I feared Fal might have been bothered by it. But upon shifting my gaze toward her... I found the girl smiling at me silently. While I seriously doubted she shared Torta's sentiments, she didn't seem upset or even bothered by it at all. Shall we begin? And so I began my performance without a word. Oh, here we go. Oh no. Shoot. Crap. crap. Hey! Best one I did! Whew, good work. Yeah. I'd gotten a lot more familiar with the piece after having rehearsed it so often, but my performance still wasn't on a satisfactory level. A mere glance at Fal, who devoted herself so deeply to practice, was enough to make this fact strike home. Granted, it was her own piece, which she'd probably drilled quite a bit, but even so, she had a magnificent voice of her own. I didn't even come close to her level of perfection. What's wrong? I just don't think it's quite up there yet. You mean that performance just now? Yeah. But this is merely our third meeting, correct? While we certainly don't have all the time in the world, we have more than enough for you to improve. But, that foundation of time was starting to grow thin. I wondered whether I was supposed to ask her to be my partner now. Ari fully expected me to team up with Torta. I feared that in itself would constitute betrayal towards Ari, which is the reason why I decided to seek someone else. But what if the result of that effort would reach the same outcome? Chris? Huh? Is something the matter? There seems to be a lot on your mind. It's a bad habit of mine to get so lost in thought. My friends often tell me as well. I didn't mean to ignore you or anything. Sorry. Oh no, I don't mind at all. It's just that if there's something bothering you, I might be able to help. No. Are you holding back? We are not partners. That was the condition on which we were practicing like this. She was a candidate, a substitute for a certain other individual. But things couldn't stay that way forever. Could we really keep up this ambiguous relationship any longer? I would ultimately cause a great deal of trouble, not just for myself, but for Fal as well. We are friends, aren't we? Right. Also, candidate partners, of course. Nonetheless, even if that union were to dislocate for some reason, we shall still remain friends, won't we? Friends, huh? Or are you uncomfortable with considering someone you just met a friend? No, that's not it. In fact, I'm happy that you consider me your friend. Thanks. Her declaration had managed to promptly erase all of my anxiety, as though she had been able to read my mind. And while it had taken a load off my shoulders, I was still lost on whether or not to tell her about Ari. The story Torta told me about partners easily falling in love with each other was still tugging at my mind. I have a girlfriend, actually. I somehow felt that saying that would come across as more than a little arrogant. You weren't kidding when you spoke of that habit of yours. Nope. I'll keep it in mind. So, what shall we do? I suppose we should keep steadily practicing, huh? Good idea. There isn't much time left until the recital. Indeed. Come to think of it, in my case, the piece won't change, but if you change partners, you'll have to rehearse another piece, right? That would be the case, but I'm practicing those pieces during private lessons in the morning, and besides, I don't have that many other candidates. I see, but you should commit to one soon. Yeah, you're right. Now I'm just rushing you, aren't I? Sorry, you can let me know your decision anytime. Okay, thanks. Shall we continue? Sure. And thus the practice room became saturated with music once again. But that is all the time that I have for this episode, guys. So if you liked it, please give it a big thumbs up down below. And if you haven't already, subscribe. By subscribing, you're becoming part of a legacy. I love you guys so much, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye!